Alright, so what I like to do for buttons is just kind of grab a chunk of our layer here for our background, about the size I want that button to be. I'll hold Control, click C, and then I'll click V. Now this will be a good opportunity to go ahead and name our layers. So I'm going to name this background. So that's our background layer. So now that we have this, I'm going to name this button. So you can see I kind of grabbed that little chunk for our button. What I'm going to do now is basically press and hold Control, click A, and then I'll click the up, or I'll hold Control and click the up and down arrows. That'll just grab this button for me. I know I use the keyboard a lot, but that's what I'm used to doing. So now I have the button here, and I'll kind of choose a color here, what I want the button to be. So I'm thinking, let's see, what colors do we have? I don't know, let's just kind of go with a nice gray. It's always a very exciting color. I'll grab our brush tool here, right click, make it a little bit bigger, and now we have our nice ugly gray button. So what I'm going to do now is right click on button and again go to blending options, and again we can kind of edit it through here. So we can do this embossing, and this is really a good tool for buttons because we can bring the size down a little bit, and I wish it was a better color. I can even do a color overlay in this and change the color of it if I wanted to. Ooh, I like that a lot better. Let's stick with that. Let's do that color overlay. And you can see here, this kind of turns it into a button, this bevel and emboss. So, there we go. So we'll just use this. And we have our button, now we can add a texture to it. Play around here. So again, you can choose your pattern in here. There should be more patterns right here. So that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. All right. Let's see, you could add an outline to it. Add a little shadow. I'm not going to do that. That's a little too much. Add a gradient overlay to it. Okay, so again, we used our color overlay and this bevel and emboss tool. I kind of did everything. Now you can see the direction here. Up is kind of like just a button, but you can click down, and that can be kind of like the little animation when you click the button. It could go like that. It's one way you can do it. Alright, so we have our button. Now again, before the effects, after the effects. So we can put our button right there, and now we want to add a text to it. So choose a black text, click our text tool, click, and then let's just put play game. We'll just use the same font because it looks pretty cool. Now this font we're going to actually import in GameMaker, so we're not going to export this font. The only thing we're going to export is this button, and but for the sake of figuring out what it's going to look like, we're going to go ahead and add this text. But again, this text is not going to be exported as an image. I'll show you what we're going to do with these buttons later. So there we go. Again, I like to know exactly what the whole menu is going to look like, and then I take parts and pieces and then I add that into the game later. So now I'm going to go over to my layers. I'm going to hold shift, I'm going to click play game, the text, and then I'm going to click the button. So I have both of them selected. I'm going to right click, I'm going to click duplicate layers, I'm just going to click OK. And now I have a duplicate of my button, so I'm just going to put that down here, use the arrow keys to kind of line it up, change the text to settings, so we can do a little settings menu. I'm going to do that again. Got a really loud motorcycle outside, very distracting. Duplicate it again. We'll add one more that says exit. Kind of put in the middle here. So we have all these layers. So what I'm going to do now is go to layer. I'm going to click, where's it at? New group. And I'm just going to name this buttons. So that adds a group. Now I can hold shift, select all my buttons, put them in that group here. So now I can shut them on or off. And I can also just move this whole group around, which is pretty cool. So I can just see Let's see, do I want it over there? Do I want... See, that would look cool. I could just put it down there. That does not look bad at all. That does not look bad at all. Just gonna figure out where I want it. Yeah, that really doesn't look bad. Okay. I'm just gonna put it right here for now. Okay, so last thing before this tutorial is done, we're gonna add a little login menu. I'm gonna put that right there, then we'll play around with it. So again, I'm just gonna grab a piece of my background here, make sure that layer is selected. That's pretty good. I'm gonna click Control C, Control V, that creates a new layer. I'm gonna click Control A, then I'm gonna hold Control, click up and down, that selects that. Now I'm just gonna color this black. And what I'm gonna do is go to my little transparency tool here and turn that down. I'm going to add text. So we'll name this login_menu. Oops. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to add text right here. Well, first I'm going to choose white. We want it to be white text. I'm going to add text right here that says login. You can click Control T to make this bigger. Alright. Now, center that up. Really like this font a lot. Look at the eyes. That's pretty cool. Now what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and create a new group just to throw all this stuff in. Name it login menu. So over here in my layers, I'm going to throw that text in there and throw this. Again, that way we can turn this on and off. We can move all of it. Oops. We can choose our group. We can move the whole group. So that just makes everything easier. Okay, now we're going to choose login menu from our layers. We're going to grab a piece here. How about right about here. It's pretty good. Control C, Control V, Control A, up, down. And actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's do it this way. In our layer 1, let's right click, blending options, and let's go to color overlay. And I like that. Then let's choose this bevel and emboss. I like that. Click down, lower the size, add a little depth. For our color overlay, let's make this a little bit darker. All right. So this is where we'll put in our username. I renamed the layer there. Sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, but you know, I think you guys get the point by now. I'm just basically designing this in Photoshop. And then I'm going to add some text. Username. Now I'm just going to hold shift. I have username selected in my layers, so I'm going to click this other username graphic here. I'm going to right click duplicate layers, click OK. Again, I'm not going to export all of this, I just want to see what everything's going to look like. I'll name this password. And, okay. I'm just going to move it around. Choose this online menu. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we have room for the button. Okay. Select all these. Move it up a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna steal one of these buttons. Let's take our exit button. Let's grab these two layers. Right click, click duplicate. Okay. Now I'm gonna drag them down to this login menu. And then I'm gonna move it over here. And what I'm gonna do is move all this up. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Actually, a little bit smaller. How about that? I just think it would look cool. It'd be a nice little touch. Okay, grab this button. It'd be a nice little touch to do this. That looks kind of cool. That's what I did in my little survival game. Okay, for the button, I'm going to go to blending options. I'm going to change the color just a little bit. Just a little bit. Make it a little bit darker. Alright. So, close our login menu group. Close our button group. Now we can kind of move things around to see where we want it. You know, however you want to do it. We could even put this over here. Like, I kind of liked it over there. Move the login menu over here. I think that looks a lot better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that concludes it for this tutorial. The next tutorial, we'll be taking all of this and adding it into our tutorial project and making it come alive. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, please subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer those for you. Okay, enjoy your day.